Hi, my name's Don. Spending quality time with the family is very important. My wife and I like to work very hard all year, like you, I'm sure. We like to reward ourselves by taking family vacations. If your family is anything like ours, there isn't all this extra money laying around to take extra vacations. We have to find ways to cut costs so we'd be unable to go. We have always wanted to go on a cruise, but we felt it was out of our budget. A few years ago, my wife and I were able to save up, and we went on our first 4-day cruise. We fell in love with it, and now we go on a longer 7-day cruise every year. I would like to show people who didn't think they could afford a cruise that cruises are more affordable than you think. We'll talk about food a little bit. Food is a high cost while on vacation. Going out to eat for 3 meals a day can be quite costly. My family goes on an annual trip to Aruba every year. Our resort has a refrigerator and a kitchen in the room that helps cut down on food costs. We're able to go to the grocery store, stock up, and have lunch and breakfast, and then we go out for dinner. But even then, the food bill can be considerably high, equaling hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over the course of a vacation. On a cruise ship, food is included. The food on a cruise ship is excellent quality, enormous variety, and very abundant. It's more food than a person can ever dream of eating. I usually go to the gym a ton before I go on the cruise, so I don't feel guilty and I can eat whatever I want. There are usually 1 or 2 high-end restaurants on a cruise that cost extra money. I have never seen the need to pay for extra food on a cruise, but I have heard that people aren't disappointed with their meals. The food is one of the favorite things on a cruise, and it takes a lot of stress out of a vacation knowing that you don't have to worry about food at all. Lodging is included on a cruise. When going on vacation, another substantial cost is a hotel. Have you guys seen the price of a hotel nowadays? I mean, a decent hotel can cost $150 a night minimum, and that's for nothing like that great. When booking on a cruise, the price of the cruise includes lodging. I've stayed in the most affordable / cheapest rooms on a cruise. Let's see. I was leery at first because I thought I'd be stuck like in a closet next to the engine room and the room would be shaped like this, but I was wrong. I was actually impressed and quite surprised with the size of these rooms and the quality. We would not be able to afford a cruise if we didn't stay in these rooms. Staying in a balcony can add hundreds and hundreds of dollars onto a cruise. So we haven't been able to afford a balcony room yet. Like cruises, they visit many locations too. There are over 18,000 ports worldwide. Booking a cruise out of a certain port can help cut down on the cost tremendously. Here are a few examples. Substantial savings can be had depending on if and where you need to fly for departure. For example, it is much more expensive to fly to Miami than it is Fort Lauderdale. It can be as much as $100 to $200 savings per airline ticket to fly to Fort Lauderdale, and it's only 20 minutes away from Miami. You can actually rent a car, fly to Fort Lauderdale, save a few $100s, either rent a car or take a shuttle to the port in Miami, which we have done. Our next cruise that my wife and I booked is a 7-day trip to Bermuda. It leaves out of Boston, and we don't have to pay airfare. After taxes, our total cost is $600 per adult, and kids are half price. There are also other ways to save substantial costs in airfare by, say, driving to New York or New Jersey and departing the cruise in one of those cities. It's only about a 4 or 5 hour drive, so you can actually save hundreds of dollars. Our next cruise, we would like to book a 12 to 14 transatlantic cruise departing Florida and ending up in Europe. We want to stay a few extra days in Paris and take a flight home. This cruise itself is only around $700. It's much less than a hotel, and that includes all the food. Our next cruise, we might take a cruise out of Boston and go and cruise up to Canada and for a few days, something like that in the summertime, which I think will be pretty fun, saving airfare. Shore excursions can be quite costly if you're on a budget. This is something that may need to be cut back or eliminated. My wife and I, we may only be able to afford 1 or 2 excursions when on a cruise. I would definitely recommend cruising if you're on a tight budget. Most cruise lines let you pay half up front and then the other half a month or 2 before the departure date. This is somewhat like a layaway plan, free of interest. There's a lot of competition in the cruise line industry, so there are many bargains to be had. Alcohol is something that generally isn't included on cruises. If you're budgeting on a cruise, I recommend cutting back on alcohol to save a little money. The ship pushes the alcohol, so be aware and monitor your tab every day so you don't get a big hit at the end. Done that, so that's what I recommend. Drinks are usually not free in the casinos either. At other casinos, like when we go to Aruba, if you sit at the blackjack table, they actually give you free drinks while you play. Most ships offer free comedy, karaoke, dancing, magic acts. Like I say, those are all free, so you don't really need money for that. I wouldn't recommend taking no money on a cruise though. because you do need money for tips and other things like that. Cruises are extremely fun and can be very affordable. That's my presentation on cruising.